Many thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is Firecrackers. You missed quite a lot, but don't worry, you can catch up with us on our social media channels where clips of our discussions today will be uploaded. And now to the topic that we have at hand, which is the line between law enforcement and human rights abuses, which, like I said earlier, we've been having one too many cases of this. The good one is one that happened in Anambra State at a residence of NYSC core members, where vigilantes went there. They were beaten. One particular lady was assaulted. She was naked. Her clothes was torn. And not just her, the rest of them too were beaten. And by the time the state government would reply, they said that it was not too wrong because the vigilantes, they were trying to carry out their law enforcement, and then perhaps what they were blaming them for is that they were too brutal. They went overboard in trying to carry out their law enforcement agency. But we have people online who are sharply divided. Not even a lot of people are seeing it from the point of view of the government, and they're seeing it from the point of view that these vigilantes are trying to extort money from these core members, and not how the government painted it to be as if they got intelligence and they were just trying to carry out their work, which leads us to the discussion of the day. So, Dr. Modele, what do you see about this scenario of where we have not even just vigilantes, because this one is a state-owned vigilante. We have also had reports of police brutality and whatnot. While they are trying to carry out their work, they end up brutalizing these people, sometimes completely ignoring the order at which they're supposed to go through this. How do we change this in Nigeria?
You see, I will start from the angle where the state government of that state made comment. Now, if it were the relation of the sitting governor of that state, or a commissioner or a member of House of Assembly, if it's the relation that was involved in that, do you think the government would have issued such statement? The answer is no. The government of that would have taken it more serious. But their thinking is that what happened to the said lady did not happen to them. It did not happen to their population. That was why they issue what I call it funny and unacceptable statement. That statement is a inhuman statement issued by that state. Very, very inhuman. Now, when it comes to, let's say somebody commits a crime, there are procedures for it. Now, those procedures should be followed. But you see the people you call the vigilante, or whatever they call them, what they have done shows the level of their understanding and the level of their what I call literacy. They are not well tutored. They are not well groomed. They are not well enlightened when it comes to security architecture. The fact that you see somebody dressing like a motor park boy does not make him a criminal. You can see somebody who put on suit, wear tailored suit, or native, or kaftan. He may be a born criminal from his birth. But the fact that you see somebody who dress casually doesn't mean that's a criminal. But that is what they do in Nigeria. When they see somebody who put on agbada, babariga, kaftan, then did what they call 1 million hairstyle, they will be saying yes and yes, no, yes, yes. Because they are looking at the physique. They don't have intelligence to know that this person is a suspected person. That was what happened in that area. So those people called vigilante people, when they got there, they must have had the thinking that these people, they are not. You need to do what? You investigate. When you investigate, you find out, whatever you find out, your investigation will be subjected to scrutiny, then steps will be taken. But for them to have gone to that extent of what I call humiliating those young Nigerians, I think The ball is in the court of number one, the federal government. Because those people that I won't call them students, those graduates, those serving graduates, they are serving the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And it is a condition precedent for a person to be called full-fledged graduate, that you must serve your fatherland, or you get exemption certificate. These people were serving their fatherland, and they experienced such. So the ball is in the court of the federal government to take up the matter, in conjunction with the NYSC. Because if they let it go, or they keep quiet that it is not their relation, similar thing may happen. So there should be what I call deterrent. Those people called vigilante or vigilant, whatever they are, vigilante, should be subjected to investigation. And if possible, they should face the wrath of the law. Okay. Also, to the affected graduates, they can suit an action against them.
Okay, well,
because what they have done, they should not let it go.
According to what the state government did, they promised the core members that they would make sure that they did a follow-up and all those who brutalized them would be brought to book. But later, some of these victims said they still saw the same vigilantes who assaulted them. They still saw them on the way after the state government assured them that everything is being taken care of. This is not the first time we hear cases like this where the citizens are assured that, okay, we will take care of this, we'll get to the bottom of this. But at the same time, the ones who were responsible, they are still seen roaming free and abroad. We know that one of the latest, the one that seems to be the most brutalized, the one that caught the attention of media the most, the father is also asking for compensation of what they did to their daughter. And we've also had Human Rights Commission coming up to condemn this. But we are always seeing condemnation, but no action.
You see, we are in Nigeria. We are all Nigerians. We know ourselves. What the state government, the statement issued, I call it general statement. I call it consoling statement. It's actionless. Must you issue statement before you take action? If you take action, it is your action that speaks for you. When you went to call all the media houses in the whole world, you say, we are going to do this, whoever is culpable will find one thing. That is, I call it general statement, consoling statement, just to make people to keep calm. Well, where is the action? The action is not there. I could recollect some months ago we were here in respect of police brutality in Oyo State concerning one young boy who was killed. Did you hear anything about it again today? That government issued what I call general statement. The IGP also, in his Abuja home there, issued general statement. Today, did you hear anything about it again? That is how the Nigerians are. So, the issue is the statement issued by that state government is actionless. What is needed is action. But I thank God that some human rights bodies, they've waded in, and I think with those bodies, the issue may not be buried like that. But notwithstanding that, federal government, Director General of NYSC, it is your tenure. If you do well, your name will be there. And if you do otherwise, your name will also be there. Now, if you allow that issue to die down like that, I think the man is a general. You know the meaning. You have gone far. When it comes to security architecture, you've attended different trainings within and outside the country. You know what it takes. These young graduates are serving their fatherland. One man, under the influence of whatever he must have taken, just went to their residence and brutalized them. I think you shouldn't allow that to go in order to have your name in a good book. But if you decide that, well, to God be the glory. But I want to say that the human rights bodies should keep it up, should take it up and ensure that the needful is done, and ensure that those graduates, those young graduates, will never suffer like that in vain, because it is painful. We all passed through the university system. We passed through the NYSC. We knew what we saw there. We knew what we experienced there. So with those experiences, one man in Lukai said he's a vigilante, come to the premises and be beating them and be flogging them, molesting them, embarrassing them.
Let us even look at the gender sensitivity of this issue.
Yes.
There were men there women there, and then we had the lady who had her clothes tore off her. I don't know if we could call that like a means of humiliating her. Also, according to a statement that some of the victims said, the local government inspector said to them was they've always want them not to walk, to always walk in group. And then the most shocking part of what was credited to the local government inspector saying was that some of the women there would get married, and it's a good practice for them because some of them might marry men who would be beating them. So apparently to this local government inspector, it is okay because according to him, what has happened has happened. Let us look at the case of this gender sensitivity for this particular scenario.
You see, the person you call local inspector, I think he must be a graduate. Maybe he's a female or male, and that's what I can say. But if he's a female, such comment is unfortunate. If he's a male, such comment is unacceptable and shows what I call careless talk. Yes. You see, some people, when they see media, they talk what I call jargons. They don't think. They just talk loud. So I call that kind of talk as loud talk, which I regard as careless talk. You don't say that. You see, let me tell you what's going on. In NYC, experience there is sweet and bitter, but not this kind one. Now, for somebody who is to supervise, to monitor the conduct of those core members within his or her jurisdiction, to now say it is a good experience for them to show that when they marry, their husband, it will not be strange for them when their husband is beating them. Maybe that is what her husband does for her, or if it's a man, what his wife does to him at home. It may be. But to me, such comments it ought not to have come from the mouth of a living human being. I say this always right. It shouldn't have come out. You need to think deeply. You don't do things that way. What about those, maybe one of those graduates, one of them is our relation? Would he say so? He wouldn't, or she wouldn't. But because of what I call little experience, little knowledge, must have prompted that. And I think such officer, with due respect to NYC, such first officer should be investigated about that incident. He's one way or the other has nexus with it. Yeah, it must be investigated. It must be investigated properly. Investigation should include checking his or her phone to see conversation calls made within that day the incident happened. You will see that some truth will be exposed. Because some of these Nigerians, they are so funny. How would you say that to a living human being like you and say it's a good experience to show how their husband will be beating them when they marry and they will soon marry?
Okay.
My God.
Let us look at another place where the line of law enforcement and human rights violation got law. That was the one that happened at the Obasanjo Presidential Library, where EFCC stormed the place. And while this was going on, the OPLE is alleging that they threatened people, they not shot at people, but then they did fire bullets, and they intimidated a lot of people there, and then they sued them for damages. But these people that were arrested, they've already been taken to court. Okay. Yes, and they've already faced the judge. But now that we are having this same issue of how do we go about, okay, they are trying to do their work because of information and tip that they got, that they are fraudsters and they are trying to celebrate one great booty that they just acquired. And then they went there, they apprehended them. But in the course of apprehending them, is there some particular protocol that needs to go into apprehending people? Because no sane individual would wait and let himself be apprehended, even if he has done wrong.
Sure.
So where exactly does the use of force come in, and when is it too much? Or when does it cross that line of violating the human rights of the person?
You see, what the incident that happened, thank God it's already, the matter is one way, I say one part before the court. I wouldn't delve into that because it is subject. But when it comes to human rights violation, I think I will make one or two comments. If what they call, I think it was EFCC, they say whistleblower. Maybe they got information from their whistleblower agents that this and this wants to happen, and they need to swing to action to apprehend this person. EFCC, to be sincere, they know what to do. They know what to do by complying with the rules and the law as to doing or carrying out their activities. But you see, the only area I need to be careful about is that when this day happened, we only read it in paper and online. We were not there. So since one was not there, it will be difficult to pinpoint some issues. But I want to say with due respect that as for human rights, if person is identified to have allegedly committed an offense and wants to be arrested, the procedures are there. You don't need to carry out your duty to tamper another person's fundamental rights. You don't need to carry out your duty to go and damage somebody's property. Then in that wise, if by the action and inaction of EFCC, they've done what is contrary to or that affects the owners of the facility, they know what to do in order to get a redress. But I want to say with due respect that EFCC should learn from past experiences by adhering strictly to the law and to the rules. Now, if they want to arrest, good and fine. I think they say they have what they call tracking, they track and show culprits is apprehended. You don't need to go and ransack the whole building before you can get your job done with the technology available globally, which I know EFCC share from such technological know-how. They shouldn't have done it in a way that it will lead to crisis or it will lead to infringement of another person's fundamental right. I am not saying they should not do that. They should do their duty intelligently. They should do, you see, there are certain things that some of our friends in motor parks, they do. I think EFCC shouldn't behave like that. They should be more decent. Yes.
Okay.
You are doing your work in order to curb crime in the country, but don't do that work to cause further crisis.
Definitely.
To cause further litigation against EFCC.
So
there are ways to do it.
Sincere apologies, Dr. Omodelebo. We've run out of time. Thank you so much for being with us here today on the program. We truly appreciate your presence.
Yes. Let's not forget, I said, I think this is second to the last Sunday. It's not the last Sunday of August.
I know we are all looking forward to the new month.
Yes, we are waiting for September. So that's, they call it Baba month. But by the grace of God, we'll get it.
Definitely. Thank you so much for being with us today on the program. So this is where we'll be drawing the curtains on today's episode of Firecrackers. We thank you so much for staying with us to the very end. My name is Iriba Salako. So have a wonderful week ahead.